I bet you probably didn't expect a luxury YouTuber to say that a weapon was one of their most prized possessions. Hello, welcome back to Classics with a Quirk, where I talk about contemporary and luxury designer items and brands with a touch of silliness. If this is the kind of content that you find interesting, please do like this video and subscribe for more of it. Thank you. This is going to be a chatty video today, so buckle up. You might be wondering why I'm making another luxury wishlist video when I already made one this year and just recently, like it came out at the beginning of January, my luxury bag and SLG wishlist. Well, that was a luxury bag and SLG wishlist, and it was specifically about luxury bags and SLGs. Now, I do want to say that the luxury wishlist video that I put out that was material items based was sort of an overall goal wishlist for kind of the future. It wasn't specifically for 2022. This video, like, this one is a 2022 specific luxury goal wish list. It is things that I would like to accomplish in 2022 or things that I would like to achieve in 2022 that, again, will make my life, in my opinion, more luxurious to me. Now, normally if I'm going to be talking about luxury lifestyle, I am most definitely going to be including traveling on that list. Most of you know by now that I am an avid traveler. I love to travel. I try to learn at least a little bit of the language of the place that I'm going to, if it's not a English-speaking country. And I've had to cancel several trips over the last few years. I was actually supposed to go to Japan this year in 2022, and I did recently cancel that trip just because it didn't seem feasible at the time. I was going to go to Japan and Italy last year in 2021, and that didn't happen. And while I would love to put travel, especially international travel, on this lifestyle wish list, I don't really know if I should. I'd love to, but I don't know if I should. So right now I'm going to leave it off. If I end up being able to travel, especially if things like get better in the world and in general, and also honestly in my life. I've got a lot of family stuff going on right now. Some of you might know if you watched some of my vlogs from December, but I'm not going to get into that right now. But if things do get better, I'd love to travel. But that's more of a hope ideal, as opposed to a thing that I really am going to work to accomplish. So travel is kind of to the side. So I'm going to be talking about things that are not travel based, and that was a really long, intro into talking about the other things, but now I'm going to do that. Just tying into travel though, to make that connection in terms of like worldly experiences, I really want to work on getting better at Japanese again in 2022. I used to be conversationally fluent, and I was pretty conversationally fluent in 2019. 2020 and 2021, I definitely slacked off on my Japanese study. So I'd like to get back to that. And I have been in the end of 2021 and going into 2022. I've been utilizing Duolingo a little bit and at least just practicing like my reading skills, like my katakana, hiragana, and a little bit of kanji. I would like to get better at my conversational speaking as well. And, my auditory response, listening and then being able to reply back and understand and interpret. So that's something that I really want to do. I have been studying Japanese for a number of years. I think, goodness, probably 7 or 8 years I've been studying Japanese at this point, but it has been a little bit off and on, so I'd like to get back into it. I also did start making an attempt at French in 2021, so I'd like to get back to that too. And, I think that learning a second language or more than one language is a huge accomplishment. So people who are bilingual or trilingual or quadlingual, that's amazing. I aspire to be at least bilingual, and at this point I know a little bit of a few different languages, but nothing to the point that I would be like, oh, this was such a good accomplishment. I'm definitely comfortable. I'm not comfortable, even Japanese. I'm conversationally fluent, and when I go to Japan, I can get by. I don't usually talk in English. In fact, the last time I went to Japan was in 2019, and I spoke entirely in Japanese to other people with the exception of the person I was traveling with. I think I had 2 conversations in English the entire time I was there. That was a huge accomplishment to me. But I'd always like to get better. I'd always like to improve. So that is definitely on my list. But getting better at something is more of a broad goal. It's not like a concrete, definite number. So in terms of definite numbers, I have 3 definite number accomplishments that I want to achieve in 2022. The first of which is a writing goal. As some of you might know by now, I am a writer. That is my job. And I have been kind of off and on, not that I haven't been writing in 2021, because I wrote a lot in 2021, but I was under my word goal for the year. And I also had releases, but I was under my release goal for the year. I usually aim for 4 or 5 books in a year. and I wasn't under that. I did hit it, but I hit it with a translation release. And so, you know, it wasn't all English releases. It was like translations into other languages too. So I guess I did technically meet my goal in 2021, but I'd like to do English releases as a goal. So I have to write more. So my goal for 2022 is to definitely write at least 15,000 words a month. And then stretch goal is 20,000 words a month or more. And that equals out to being at least 180,000 words for the year, and then more than 200,000 words for the year if I write up to my 20,000 word stretch. I've been pretty good at it so far. In January, I've written 18,500 words so far in January, and that doesn't include editing and stuff like that. It just includes word count I've put onto a page. So I'm pretty happy with that. And I also did a compilation of some of my shorts, which ended up being 12,000 words so far, and that's not finished yet. That's compilation, so I need to finish that. But I'm not counting like those 12,000 as words that I've created. It's just words that have already existed that I'm compiling. There's a lot that goes into figuring out how I quantify my writing goals. And so for me, it's word count and then releases, because those are the two things that I definitely have control over and definitely like can see productivity from. So again, I love writing. I've been really kind of happy with some of the projects that I've been working on this year so far, and you know, editing also is something else. I have several things to edit. It's just something that I have to do. I do enjoy editing, but it is one of my least favorite parts of writing, just because it's so tedious sometimes, having to read over and over and over and over your own words until you are sick of them and never want to look at them again. I generally read one of my books probably 7 or 8 times while I'm writing it, just because I circle edit. I don't rough draft and then go back to the beginning. I circle edit, which means that I'm constantly reading and editing as I go through. So 7 or 8 times at least during the writing portion, and then again sort of like kind of 7 or 8 times during the editing portion. And by the time you've read your own work like 16 or 20 times, you're tired. But that is a goal, so I'm working on it. I'm doing pretty well so far in January. We'll see how I am in like May, but that is a goal of mine. Another quantifiable goal of mine is YouTube. I would like to reach 5,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I would like to reach 5,000 subscribers by May, my birthday. So that's kind of my, obviously I want to reach 5,000 this year. If I reach 5,000 by the end of December, I'll still be like happy. That's really cool. But my stretch goal is by May of 2022, because May is my birthday, and it would just be really cool to reach 5K by May. I didn't realize until this moment that that rhymed, and I apologize. YouTube has really been a lot of fun since I started in August of 2020, and I really am happy with how my channel and subscriber count has grown, but also I've been really happy with how my subscribers have grown in who they are. Like, all of you have been super nice and kind in the comments, and you've really discussed things with me. You've participated in my very chatty videos where I discuss like different aspects of how we look at luxury and what luxury means to us, and that's super cool. You've interacted on like videos like this, which are more personal, which I don't know why I'm interesting, but it's really cool and, you know, neat to have people just want to talk to me, you know, here on Instagram. I made a lot of friends, and from just people, just people. I feel like I've really made a connection with kind of the community we've built here, and so thank you for participating in that. It's super nice to just have overwhelmingly thoughtful, kind, interesting subscribers who want to interact with me. So that's really neat. I really like how that has grown. And I've been enjoying it a lot. It is a lot of work, though. I will say I am often tired for a number of reasons, but YouTube does sort of add to that tiredness. And last year in October of 2021, I made my goal to do 2 videos a minimum a week from October to December. I'd like to continue 2 videos a week for 2022. I don't know how feasible that will be, because I am looking at a very busy schedule for 2022. but I would like to at least have one video release a week. My regular release date has been Saturday for the most part, so I'd like to continue one video release on Saturday concurrently for the entirety of the year, so that will be at least 52 videos, probably more than that, as I do try to release a video on Wednesday as well now since October. And I do often have like random videos during the week because I do try to keep you up to date on price increases and stuff, and if a price increase happens on like a Tuesday or a Friday, I do try to get a video out on that, you know, as soon as possible. So, you know, I probably will hit more than 52 videos this year, but I'm aiming for at least 52. By the way, if you're interested in price increase videos, I would suggest subscribing to my channel and hitting the notification bell, because again, I do release them as soon as I find out information. So if you're interested in following price increases, I do tend to be on top of what is happening and when it is happening, and I don't do sensationalized information. So I only really release information and make videos on price increases when I have confirmation from several different essays from several different places in the US, and if not the world. So yeah, if that's something that you're interested, I would recommend subscribing. And if you're also interested in more of me, perhaps you have been watching this chatty video and seem to like how I am, my little quirks, then also feel free to hit the subscriber button, and I would love to see you back. A very loose connection from YouTube to something else is my birthday. So my birthday is in May. I would like to start investing more in fine jewelry this year. I really have started to embrace fine jewelry and expand my collection, and I would like to continue investing in fine jewelry in 2022. I don't have a lot of concrete pieces on my list because jewelry is something that I kind of like to explore and discover and find. But for the most part, gold, I am interested in gold pieces for the most part. I really like yellow gold, and I am considering diamonds too, but at least gold jewelry is something that I'm interested in investing in. I would love to have a special piece for my birthday. I had been looking at this necklace from Tiffany, the ampersand necklace, because I thought it was cute and I like the connection to the fact that I am a writer. So that's something that I was considering, but there are other pieces that I have been considering as well, and I would love to, you know, expand my collection. So you might see a little bit more fine jewelry unboxings on this channel. If you're interested in that, like, let me know if you are interested in fine jewelry unboxings, because I could also just not show them on camera. But if, you know, you'd like to see my unbox whatever fine jewelry pieces I acquire, just even not for the fine jewelry pieces, but my expressions, because my expressions, I will be honest, are kind of silly sometimes, if not downright giddy if you saw my Chanel Jumbo unboxing, or sometimes very disappointed. But if I'm buying a fine jewelry piece, like, I know, you know, what I'm getting. So that's a little bit different from buying like a pre-loved or new bag that I've never seen before. Anyway, let me know if you'd be interested in seeing stuff like that. But again, fine jewelry pieces is something that I'd be interested in continuing to invest in 2022, and definitely a piece for my birthday. The last few items on my luxury lifestyle wish list goal list for 2022 are all fitness based, like health, exercise, fitness based. I am quite active, or I have been in the past. I really haven't been as active as I'd like to be in the last year, 2 years really, but I really want to get back to my serious training. Now, some of you might know that I am a martial artist. I've mentioned this a couple of times. I mentioned it in like a previous Q&A video, but I'm a martial artist. I'm a black belt in 2 disciplines, and I love martial arts. I've been training in martial arts for 20 years, and I have been not affiliated with a school for the last few years because of what's been going on. I don't know if I'm going to be returning to a school in 2022, but I do definitely want to get back to my dedicated training routine that I used to be very serious about and have a little bit slacked off in. I have forms that I want to continue perfecting. I have, you know, kicking and stamina exercises that I have to get back to, or I want to get back to and doing more of. I have my weapons training. I have a bow staff that I absolutely love. It is one of my favorite possessions, you know, aside from like the luxury stuff, of course, but I have a bow staff, a collapsible bow staff of mahogany wood. It is my favorite, and I'd like to get back to doing that more seriously again. So, you know, just stuff like that are things that I would like to do. And actually, I'm going to show you my bow because I love it. Okay, so this is not going to fit all in the video, but this is my bow. And people call it a bow staff, but that just means staff because bow means staff. So someone calls this a bow staff, they're calling it a staff, which is kind of funny. It's like chai tea, which is just tea, or the Louis Vuitton clay, which is, if you call it the key clay, you're just saying key, because clay means key. So yeah, so this is my bow staff. It is collapsible. So it unscrews like this, so you can divide it into 2 parts, which is really helpful if you're transporting it somewhere. If you're going to like a gym or somewhere to train, or if you're going to a competition and you need to get it into a car because this thing is over 6 feet and it's hard to transport that in a car if it doesn't collapse. So yeah, so that is my bow, and this thing makes me so happy. I love it. Yeah, you've seen my expression when I look at a bag I have the same expression when I have my bow in my hands, and I love training with this thing, and I haven't done it as much as I really like to, and especially now it's winter, it's hard to train because, you know, I usually really enjoy training outdoors, and just, I love this. I love this thing so much, and I need to pick it up more. So this is definitely one of my luxury lifestyle goals for 2022. Now, as I said, I don't know if I'm going to be returning to a martial arts school in 2022 as opposed to just training on my own, but I do want to return to aerial classes. I don't actually know if I've mentioned this before on this channel, but I am an aerialist, or an aspiring aerialist rather. I did train in aerial for about 3 years, in silk, in lyra, and in hammock. And some trapeze. I don't really like trapeze so much. It hurts the most, so it's not my favorite. But I really want to get back to aerial classes. I haven't been in aerial since, you know, everything started, and I have some pictures of aerial, but it shows how long I've been out of it because my hair is short in all these pictures, and it's been 2 years since I was in aerial classes because my hair has grown quite a lot since then. But yeah, so I love aerial. It's a lot of fun. It requires a lot of you. It requires a lot of strength and training and stamina and strength. My hands, your grip strength is so important, and I love the physicality of it. But unlike martial arts, aerial is not something that I can practice at home. I can do stretches and I can do strength training to get more flexible and to get stronger in order to do aerial, but I don't have apparatuses in my house. So I need to return a place to do it. And I actually think I found a studio that's pretty close to me. So I think I'm going to reach out to them and hopefully start that up. So I'm really looking forward to that. So that's definitely on my goal to start earlier in the 2022 year so I can, you know, continue on for the rest of 2022. So aerial classes are on my luxury wish list. The final thing on my luxury lifestyle wish list is also a physical activity, and that is a quantifiable physical activity goal, and that is I would like to be able to do 10 pull-ups by the end of the year. Now, I do strength training on my own, you know, of course, and I do flexibility training. I've been doing flexibility training for 20 years now, at least, probably more than 20 years now, because I started when I was like a literal child. I can do a split cold. I actually, during Vlogmas in December, I did one video where I showed a little bit of my stretching exercise routine. So if you're interested in that, I'll link it. I don't know how interesting it would be to watch, but I thought it was fun to make the video. So I don't know, maybe you'd like to see it. If you'd like to see me do the splits or something. But in terms of a quantifiable strength, I used to be able to do 12 pull-ups, and now I'm down to probably 3 or 4, which is not where I'd like to be, especially because, you know, I want to get back into aerial, which requires a lot of arm strength. The reason that I could do 12 pull-ups is because when I was at my peak, I was also, on top of training, I was also auditioning for stunt shows for fun. I have a whole stunt reel actually that's old. It's from 2016 at this point, but you know, I would audition for stunt shows. I auditioned for Universal, Disney, and Marvel before, and I have, in every single audition, I've always passed to the next level when it comes to activities. So in every single audition I've done, with the exception of my very first audition, I actually failed on the pull-up strength test. But in every audition after that, I started auditioning when I was like in my early 20s. So, you know, I was living and learning. In every audition, with the exception of my first one that I've done, my goal was to pass the physical trial and get into the next trial, which is usually like the acting portion or the looks portion. So that was actually one of the reasons that I was auditioning, not necessarily even to do the show, so that would have been really fun, but it was a personal test to see my own skills showcased in that sort of like quantifiable manner. Like if you pass the physical round of the Marvel audition, like that is That was real good. I was very proud of myself because that audition lasted 8 hours, and it was 8 hours of constant moving activity that ended with a fight scene, and I did really well and I passed that portion. So that was a huge accomplishment. I did that, gosh, back in 2017. Yeah, that was in 2017 because I had to fly to Florida for it because I passed so you send in your audition reel and then they say whether or not you're like qualified to actually go to the next step, which is in a location where they see you do stuff. So I was able to get to that point where I flew to Florida to actually do the physical audition portion. It was so cool. It was a lot of fun. It was also fun to like meet people who are also on that level of like activity and doing that sort of stuff. So that was really neat. Black belt tests are like that too. My last black belt exam, obviously I haven't had a black belt exam in several years, but my last black belt exam, it was a communal exam. So it was a bunch of us from different schools all testing at the same place. And so it was just a bunch of black belts at the same kind of level, all training and having fun together and doing a test. That test took 12 hours over a period of 2 days, and it was hard, but great. It was so much fun. I really think that those types of things are just, you know, a lot of fun. I really enjoyed auditioning. I really enjoyed the black belt tests. You know, you hate it while you're doing it, but then you stop and you breathe and you're like, oh, this is really a good time. My favorite part of those types of things is, it's kind of silly, you know, a little bit showboaty, but I like being able to show off my flexibility because that is, my forms are really good. My kicks are pretty great, but my forms are where I shine because they're very exacting, meticulous movements, and that's kind of where I excel. Sparring is less of a thing for me. Like I can spar, you know, I've been doing it for a while, but forms are really fun. But flexibility, like those flexibility like challenges or trials is kind of where I shine because I am quite flexible. And so I really like the middle split test because you have to go into middle split like as far down as you can go, right? And people will push on your back to try to see how far you can go once you're in the split stretch, like because you're supposed to lean forward and like try to touch the ground with your stomach. And so my little show off move is the person who is trying to push me flat back down, they stand on my back. So I am in full middle split stretch, you know, my legs are full split, and then I stand on my back, so I'm definitely 100% pushed down to the floor. And so that always gets like, you know, a good response. I don't remember why I started talking about this. Oh, okay, my goal. 12 pull-ups was what I used to be able to do, so my goal now is to get back to 10. So I have a year to get back to 12 pull-ups, and I know I can do it because I did it before. The reason I knew that I could do 12 was because for my last audition that I ever did was for Universal Studios, and you have to be able to do a minimum of 10 pull-ups, so my goal was to do 12, and then I did. I think I actually managed 13 on the testing day. But yeah, 12 is still a lot. It's a lot. Like 10 is a lot, but you know, my goal is 10. So that, you know, okay. I've talked about pull-ups for enough time, I think, so you get the point. So that's it. That is my luxury lifestyle wish list for 2022. These are the goals that I would like to achieve or things that I'd like to do in 2022 that will, for me, make my lifestyle more luxurious. I'd love to hear about your luxury lifestyle goals of 2022. If there's a resolution that you've made or something that you'd like to accomplish, maybe there's a certain amount of books you'd like to read in 2022, or you'd like to go on a certain amount of walks or adopt a dog. Like, I'd love to hear about it, so please share in the comments down below. I'd also love to hear if you have any opinions about what my lifestyle goals are, if you think they're silly, if you think they're cool, if you connect to any of them, please feel free to share in the comments. And I hope that you enjoyed this video because it was a fun one to make, a little bit different from my usual content, but again, a fun one to make. If you did like this video, please do give it a like. It super duper helps the algorithm, and subscribe for more content that helps the algorithm even more. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hello. You're very sweet. Could you sit though? Could you sit though?